Aitya Walcott is teaching me how to be the main character. If you're unfamiliar with her YouTube channel and her videos, I would implore you to familiarize yourself with her platform here on YouTube. Aitya Walcott is the main character, and she's teaching all of us how to be the main character too. When you think of yourself as the main character, you think of your experiences as the plot of a story. Sure, you face obstacles, but crying over the breakup is just the focus of chapter 8. It's not the entire story, and you'll be over it by the end of chapter 9. Thinking of your life as though it's a novel may sound trivializing, but it can be comforting to remember that some problems are much smaller in the grand scheme of your life, even if they feel big at the time. Moreover, when you reflect on the previous chapters of your life story, you'll find it encouraging to see all that you've overcome. And you're a round character, so you're constantly learning and evolving, which is pretty great too. Main character energy is not a matter of being individualistic or singular, but rather of being extremely legible. Aitya Walcott has about 14,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and she has a Patreon with 3 patrons. And the reason why she's the ultimate main character right now for me is because she's on here pretty much almost every day uploading YouTube videos, and honestly, she's doing it on her own terms and how she wants. First of all, she got a nose job. That's huge, big, main character energy. You know, Black women aren't actually encouraged to look at themselves as the main character in their lives. I think historically, I know historically that Black women have been conditioned to look at themselves as the supporting roles in everyone else's lives. See, the thing about Black women is for so long, we have spent time taking care of everyone else and making sure that their storylines play out perfectly. We've made sure that everyone gets to live out the trilogy of their dreams while we are supporting characters who get pushed to the wayside and don't even make it to book 2, probably don't even make it to chapter 2, if I'm being honest. But what Aitya Walcott is calling for all of us to do is to be the main character and stop pushing yourself to the back. You know, as a dark-skinned Black woman, I am always acutely aware that the world does not want me to put myself in the front of the line each and every time. See, the world does not want me to look at myself as the main character. I am not supposed to be the center of attention, but oh well, sorry for them. I am the center of attention. Not only am I the center of the attention, but I am everything that everyone else is trying to be. And see, that's the thing, Black women. It's already abundantly clear to us, is it not, that everyone is trying to be us. So why don't we just become the main character and stop allowing people to put us at the end of the book as a one-liner? We deserve more than that. We are more than that. And I feel that Aitya Walcott's YouTube channel is just like an ode to the main character. Every time she uploads a video, I get really excited. One, because of how cinematic they are. She attended USC. I think she was a film major or an acting major. I can't really remember. But basically, sis is like a genius, if you ask me, when it comes to editing. I just love the feel of her YouTube videos. They are authentic, they are cinematic, and they're just like real. But it's also very clear that there's a lot of production that goes on and in the background of her videos. And also that screams main character energy, right? The main character works hard. The main character has traits that we're all, aspiring to have ourselves, and that's really what she gives off. You know, she's always giving off this energy of romanticizing her life, and romanticizing your own life means appreciating the details. You know, we all are watching day in the life vlogs, and when the YouTuber does something as mundane as going through the drive-thru to get an iced coffee, we honestly can't help but think, wow, look at them, they're so aesthetic. Except it isn't as exciting when we do the same. But maybe that's because we don't have the lo-fi music on in the background or like the cute little montage of coffee after. But we can have the lo-fi music in the background, and we absolutely can have the cute little montage of the coffee after. See, what makes the main character so appealing is their conviction of their presence. See, I'm here, I'm showing up, everyone's looking at me because I'm the main character. Don't look at other people to find your main character energy, because the real energy simply comes with not giving a fuck about outside validation. And that is main character energy, my loves. Aitya Walcott gives off that energy. See, now I'm sitting here making a video about Aitya Walcott teaching me how to be the main character, but I'm not looking to her to find my main character energy, right? I look to her, watch her video, subscribe to her to absorb the energy of another main character. And then what I do is I translate that into my story, right? Into my movie, into my book for my own main charactership, so to speak. But that's the real thing here. Seriously, the real energy really comes from not giving a fuck about outside validation. If you really want to exude self-assurance, there really is no step-by-step guide. Rather, you find your inner confidence through your own journey, completely disregarding others' unique paths. When you accept this, you're golden. Being the main character is a mindset. It's a lens to see the world that encourages you to confidently take charge of your personal narrative. It can also be, and often is, a way to gently poke fun at your own narcissism. One thing that Aitya does a really great job at in her YouTube videos is making fun of her own narcissism. I'm 24 years old. I really don't know where that puts me on the scale of whatever the fuck, millennial, Gen Z. I really don't care. I just know I'm 24 years old, and I know that people who are like myself, 24 and younger, or I'll just say under the age of 40, we tend to be much more narcissistic than the generations before us. And yes, it has everything to do with social media. Having a YouTube channel, honestly, is main character energy. If you have a YouTube channel, that means you have decided that you have things to say, images to show, videos to produce that are important enough that other people need to watch them, other people beyond yourself. That's a little narcissistic, but what's wrong with narcissism, right? I don't believe there's anything wrong with being a little bit of a narcissist. Honestly, we're all a little bit narcissistic. Humans just are in nature, I feel, very narcissistic. I feel that narcissism, like all things, is good in moderation. If you're gonna be a main character, you're going to have to accept that you are a narcissist and you have narcissistic tendencies, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just don't want to go to the extreme with your narcissism. And that's okay. That's really, really, really okay. Thinking of yourself as the star of the show, either earnestly or ironically, isn't necessarily synonymous with regulating other people in your life to the background. So just because you've decided you're the main character, it doesn't mean that everyone else in your story are in the background and they don't matter. No, you're the main character in your story, and they are the main character in their story. At the end of the day, we're all supporting actors. We're all supporting characters in someone else's story. Being the main character means you're not going to allow someone else to be the main character in your story. It means you're not going to neglect yourself for someone else's main character. Being the main character means putting yourself first. And I really think that Black women could benefit greatly from romanticizing our lives more and more. The reason why I like to produce YouTube videos is because it brings me joy, but it's also the way of romanticizing my life. The reason why I like to talk on my YouTube channel, the reason why I am I would say more of an audio-based YouTube channel than I am a visually based YouTube channel, is because I really believe in the power of the voice. I believe that when you speak things aloud enough, they will come true. That is the power of my manifestation. I'm really big on scripting, which is writing things down to manifest. And I'm really big on the power of voice, speaking things aloud to manifest them. And Aitya Walcott's YouTube channel, honestly, is a beautiful, 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 beautiful example of manifestation. Sis is getting married. Sis moved. She graduated. Her channel continues to grow. She's doing a great job. And all of this was made possible not only because of, but it was a great help. All of it was made possible by her sitting down and deciding I'm the main character. I'm not. There's nobody else in this story, okay, who's the main character other than myself. Everyone else in the story of my life, they are important. Here's the thing. Nobody gets anywhere alone. As much as we all like to say, I did it by myself, you did not do it by yourself. You did not do anything truly by yourself. If you even had to Google something to learn how to do it, you did not do it alone. Whoever wrote the essay that taught you how to do something, right? Whoever wrote out the steps that taught you how to do something, whoever produced the YouTube video that taught you how to do something, helped you. So you haven't done or achieved anything alone or by yourself. None of us do. That's not real. That's not real. Self-made, you ask me, I'm going to say self-made isn't as self as we all like to believe it is. Everyone gets help in some way, okay, shape, form, or fashion. But we all have to strive more. We have to strive more on being the main character, okay? So for Michael Carson, a professor of psychology at the University of Denver, figuring out where you fit in, right, with your environment is integral to successfully navigating that environment and learning how to manage your life. Carson is quoted as saying, I think it's natural for people to question whether they are important enough in their own narrative, and naturally for people to learn how to blend their own narrative in a network of relationships. So while the terminology of main character energy might be specific to, the 2020s internet slang, the feeling, right? The feeling like the main character is nothing really out of the ordinary in the wider spectrum of human behavior. Carson clarifies, however, that while normal, it's actually not that common. So why did the trend, right, of the main character become so popular? Ashley Ward has a theory about why her sound blew up so much. And if you're not aware of who Ashley Ward is the person who created the TikTok that blew up, that had the voiceover of the main character energy and how to be a main character. So Ward is quoted as saying, I feel like it inspired people to look back and reminisce on life before quarantine, while also reminding them to make the most of life no matter the circumstances. The fact that the main character discourse took off on the app around May of 2020, when lockdowns were in full force across the world, is indeed not incidental. Nostalgia for past adventures is a predictable response to your world suddenly and indefinitely shrinking to the four walls of your house. So we were we all were forced into different worlds back in 2020 when the lockdowns happened. So, of course, we all wanted to go back to the times before. And we're also now learning in 2021 that whatever this return to normal is, it's going to be a new normal. We are never going to have the pre of what's happening in the world reality back. It's just not going to happen. Life is not ever going to return to what it was like in 2019 and before, because what took place in 2020 took place and it happened. So all we get to have is a post world. We never get to return to the pre-world. That's not what happens. That's just not what happens. So finding the magic in the mundane becomes a creative way to cope with a world that really has become very overwhelming. Romanticizing everyday activities, it can add a little spice to your life, but it also can help with your loneliness and your anxiety. If you didn't feel a little anxious or lonely during the time, that's cool. I know I did. Right? So understanding the things you go through as following a narrative arc that will necessarily bend towards a resolution can also be comforting. Feeling like the main character reminds people that challenges are temporary and they're ultimately fixable. So when you start to romanticize your life, when you start to create the YouTube video, when you make the podcast, even if you're just writing things down in your journal, right? Romanticizing your life in that way, basically scripting out your main character life, it can remind you that the challenges you're experiencing are temporary and ultimately fixable. But, Carson worries that no matter how helpful it is in writing out like what's happening in this kind of collective existential crisis, a protagonist mindset could, if left unchecked, exacerbate narcissistic tendencies and encourage selfish attitudes. And in a year when we were encouraged to spend more time thinking of others and rediscovering the importance of collectivism, that might not be a good thing. But I disagree, and many other creators disagree, because being the main character in your own life doesn't mean, as I said before, you can't be a supportive co-star in somebody else's. We all are the main character in our own story. We don't have to push somebody else aside to be the main character.
My name is Sunita Cherie, and I'm the owner and founder of Cherie Co. Candle and More. Cherie Co. isn't just a candle company, it's a daily lifestyle, a luxurious experience that caters to self-care and self-appreciation with aromatherapy products and now a body line. I hope you find your signature aroma with Cherie Co. and don't forget to self-care the next way.
Today's video is sponsored by Cherie Co. Use code KIM25 for 25% off your entire order. We don't have to push somebody else aside to be the main character. That doesn't have to happen. But the main character, as discussed, right, kind of predates, or at least main character thinking, protagonist thinking in the personal, kind of predates, obviously, like 2020 and 2021 and like the movement, right? The movement that happens. So I want to talk about that, right? Part of the appeal of the main character energy meme lies in its tapping quiet moments of in real life self-assertion that have been lost to the events that are happening now. And the meme inverts the everyday I put on my silly little outfit and do my silly little task energy, right? Like we make it fun again. We make it something that we want to do. It reasserts the performing self, the self that feels most familiar and most valid within conditions that may seem to circumscribe it. The events of 2020 may have helped launch this meme, but the idea of living life as though it were a movie emerged long before social media assumed its current form. It has been coextensive within cinema's self-mytholization. The 1973 film Badlands illustrates this. For example, when the protagonist, Martin Sheen, is visibly delighted when he's described as the spitting image of 1950s tragic heartthrob James Dean. These sort of depicted relationships within films help structure the possibilities of flattering people with comparisons to movie stars. Labeling someone a Marilyn Monroe type becomes a self-explanatory compliment. This is to say, as cinema developed, the mythic relationship with individual stars was slowly displaced by a relationship with cinema itself. One of the pivotal moments in the 1991 film Sleepless in Seattle comes when the protagonist, Meg Ryan, and her support, Rosie O'Donnell, Watch the 1957 melodrama An Affair to Remember. That's your problem, O'Donnell chastises Robin. You don't want to be in love. You want to be in love in a movie. The message? That life is not a movie is left unspoken. But of course, it is immediately negated by the fact that we witness the exchange occur in a movie. The actual message is more that we have learned how to be in movies from watching them, better than we know how to be in everyday life. As a result, we are driven to reshape life to assume cinematic form. Cinematic depictions of the falseness of living life as a movie immediately imply the opposite. The movies can show us how not to be like movies and be real people, true main characters. They strengthen the idea that cinema supplies the platonic form of subjectivity by seeming to undermine it. The 1999 comedy Bowfinger offers an explicit version of this paradox. Eddie Murphy plays Jiff, a lookalike non-actor who has been recruited to star in an action film because the production can't afford his brother Kit, a real star, also played by Eddie Murphy, a real star in real life. At one point, Jiff explains that he's never been on camera, but is an active renter at Blockbuster. Right? So this is dated. Murphy's contrasting roles collapse the dichotomy of spectator and main character as he plays each becoming the other. The gradual subsumption of life by cinema, perhaps, culminates in the situation recounted in the 2015 documentary The Wolfpack, which tells of 7 isolated homeschooled siblings who were introduced to the world almost entirely through movies. Such an introduction revolves not around absorbing information or historical data, but rather the conventions by which cinema establishes a way of seeing and a way of being seen. You know, the main character has been taught to all of us. When you say main character, I'm sure there are things that already come to mind, like confident, attractive, tall, nice, generous, funny, charismatic, right? You already are able to construct what a main character is and how a main character acts, how a main character should be perceived, and what the image of a main character should look like, just by hearing main character. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new. The main character has always existed, and it's always been shown. With social media, these conventions have become means of extraction. Users can adopt jump cuts, genre play, over the shoulder camera placements, and like to transform their lived experience into a recognizable form of cultural capital. An awareness of the legible formulas for conveying personal importance. So the techniques turn heterogeneous experience into a familiar on-screen commodity meant to spur envy and further, it's interesting that when we're all trying to be individuals, we still are a group. There are still recognized things that we all do, even to just convey our main character energy. So, we all have the desire to be the main character. It's just about getting out there and actually being the main character. That's really what it is. That's really, really, really what it is. I want everyone to visit Aitya's YouTube channel because I think that she makes excellent videos that are structured better than this one about main character energy. And I think it'll be helpful. I think it'll be helpful. But being the main character could be a little difficult. It could be a little difficult because being the main character requires you to assert yourself. And as a collective, like as a collective group, as humans, as people, we're not taught to assert ourselves. When you start to assert yourself, there's a lot of words against asserting yourself, like boastful, like narcissist, okay? People say people are overly confident, which I've never, like, how y'all gonna say somebody is overly confident? That is such a knockdown of a person's assertion of self. I'm overly confident. Like, how? But the reason why people even say things like, oh, you're overly confident, oh, you're a narcissist, oh, you're self-absorbed, oh, you're selfish, is because collectively we are not taught to assert ourselves and to be the main character and to put the focus on ourselves. We're not taught that. We're taught to be cogs in a machine. We're taught to be a part of the group and to just like work and put our heads down and push forward a collective goal that is not even in the best interest of all peoples. What we are all taught is to be the supporting actors in someone else's film. I don't want to be the supporting actor in someone else's film all the time. I am aware of the reality that I am a supporting actor in someone else's film, but in my life, I don't have to move about the world with the energy of being a supporting character. I will move about the world with the energy of being the main character who appears in different roles in other people's films. But in my film, I'm always the center of attention. I am the most important. This is my film. I am the main character. So be confident, all right? Find what it is that makes you happy, stick with it, run with it. You should really only be seeking internal validation, never external validation. So don't ever look at other people to validate like that you're cool. Okay? What makes the main character so enticing is the fact that they completely disregard what other people are doing. The only validation that should matter is your own. The main character sticks with what they love and are effortless about it. Nobody wants to be around a person who tries hard and needs confirmation of their efforts. Honestly, the key is to be blissfully unaware of your sparkle. There's nothing cooler, right, about someone who doesn't acknowledge they are cool, because cool people are just cool. And you, my friend, are just cool. You're just cool because you are. You are just cool. You're just cool. You exude self-assurance. Okay? You are the most confident person that you know. And by showing up and being in the room, you're teaching everyone else how to be just as confident as you are. Like I said, I don't really believe there's something wrong with being a narcissist. I think it's just moderation, okay? So romanticize your life. You know, ways to romanticize your life. You can take photos, you can take videos of things you want to remember. Honestly, like, just start vlogging your life, and you don't have to post it. Like, do it for yourself though. Like, document the beauty in your everyday life. Capture the funny moments with your friends. Take mirror selfies when you're proud of a fit. It's just important to reflect on history, and it's nice to reminisce about good memories, right? And don't even overindulge in the past. Like, whatever happened yesterday, we don't care. That was yesterday. It's today now. It's today now. We are romanticizing the here and now. We romanticize today. Not yesterday, not the day before, not tomorrow. Just today. Romanticize every day, day by day. That's what Aitya Walcott does. Okay, she hopped on YouTube and was like, I got a nose job, and so what? Don't care about it. Like, you know, like, don't care. I don't care. It's my life. Y'all can feel how y'all want to feel about it. It does not faze me. I do not give a fuck. I do not care. Like, that's main character energy. Y'all don't want me to get a nose job. I got a nose job. Why? Because I want a nose job. Not to please you, to please me. Because it's what I wanted to do. It's what she wanted to do. Okay? It's what she wanted to do. Because that's what matters. What matters is doing the things that you want to do. That's what makes you a main character. Doing the things you want to do and not caring about other people concerns about you doing what you want to do. It's your life. Like, at the end of the day, nobody else is going to be living your life except you. So if you're unhappy with it, change it. Change it. Wake up and decide you are a fairy with magical powers. Cool. That's your character today. Who's your character tomorrow? Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Live your life. Okay? Okay? Aitya Walcott has dreams. She has goals. She has aspirations. She had managers, right? As an actress, she had managers to help her get roles. They dropped her. She made videos about her managers dropping her. And, you know, I left comments under those videos because I felt like the energy being given off was, you know, kind of like, woe is me. And that's okay. That's fine. That's all right. But it's like, at the end of the day, man, fuck the managers. Like, they are not the main character in the story. She's the main character in the story. They were supporting roles. They came and did their job, and now they're gone. End of chapter 5. You know? Like, end of chapter 5. Moving on to chapter 6. Flourishing without the managers. Like, that's the main character energy. That's how we work. That's how we do things. You need to walk about the world with main character energy. Assert yourself at all times. You're the main character. You're the one who matters most in your life. I love you. I'll speak to y'all soon.